Roe versus Wade may be on its way out. What to do about it? We have to stop hoping that the right-wing controlled Supreme Court is going to have a change of heart and save Roe versus Wade. I think that we got to get ready for the possibility that it may not be here. And since Roe versus Wade was decided nearly 50 years ago, abortion opponents have been plotting to get rid of it. Now the end may be very, very, very close. And women need their own plan to advance reproductive freedom. That means preparing for a post-Roe versus Wade world. That's not a future any woman wants, but it's one for which they need to get ready for just in case. Welcome to the USA One podcast, the program where I and my two sidekicks share the most interesting notes of the day from social media, radio, newspapers, and other publications that we know you don't have time to follow. I'm Juan Andres, also known as Senor USA, with my two co-hosts, Professor Pico and Dr. Morditas. If you would like to view our programs, you can find us on the USA One podcast on iHeartRadio, Podbean, TuneIn, Alexa, and YouTube, easily accessible on your smartphone or any internet-compatible device.
I'm Dr. Morditas. Republicans have successfully stacked our federal courts with anti-abortion judges who don't believe in Roe versus Wade and are willing to reverse it. By 2020, the Supreme Court had a solid 6-3 anti-Roe majority. And this fall, in a few months, it will consider Dobbs versus Jackson, Women's Health Organization, a challenge to a Mississippi abortion ban that is, it's in your face. And it's gonna do something to Roe versus Wade. Whether or not Dobbs is the case that brings Roe versus Wade down, the federal courts are not women-friendly. And the U.S. Supreme Court is not going to save any women. I don't think so. Not with the kind of people there right now. I mean, some of them are nice, but there's some nasty judges there now. They don't want to help minorities and they don't want to help women. I don't know about them. Thank you, Doctor. That's a little exaggerated, but yes, it's going to be a challenge. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court failed to block a Texas law which bans abortion as early as 6 weeks and allows, and indeed incentivizes, any abortion opponent to sue any person who assists a woman seeking an abortion. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. While abortion rights supporters should do everything we can to reverse these trends, we need to really rally around a long-term, multi-pronged strategy, okay, just as the anti-abortion movement has done. In other words, they've been fighting it for decades. They never give up. They just keep at it and look for it and find a hole there and find a hole there. And that's what women have to do. They're not going to do it in one clean sweep where they're going to come in and all of a sudden the miracle is going to happen and everything's going to be saved. I mean, we all wish we could. We hope we could, but with this Supreme Court, I don't think that's going to happen. We need to get ready. We need to get ready. We have to fight and fight and fight, and it may take decades to do something about it.
I'm Professor Pico. In the last 2 decades, a number of innovative advances for women, equality, and reproductive justice have been made that must be replicated and expanded. The reproductive justice movement led by women of color has successfully exposed the link between systematic racism and the denial of reproductive freedom. They launched the effort that is gaining momentum to end the insidious Hyde Amendment, which has deprived Medicaid recipients of abortion funding since 1976, and have emphasized that true choice includes a full range of reproductive options. Situating abortion rights within the fight for fair access to health care for all is a smart move. The menu of reforms must provide unhindered contraceptive access, including making the pill available over the counter, address the U.S.'s appalling rates of infant and maternal mortality, which are experienced by black women in particular, provide gender-exclusive and gender-affirming healthcare for LGBTQ people, and provide fertility treatment for all, not just those who can afford it. And I want that because I'm part of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm multicolored. I'm rainbow.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for coming out on this program. That was very nice. Yes, you are rainbow colored. That's true. Medication abortion, a safe, effective way to end pregnancy, is stymied by politically motivated restrictions, which they've got to be abolished. Look, mid-level medical providers are all well able to prescribe medication for abortion, and as we've seen during the pandemic, telemedicine can increase access to safe abortion in areas of the country that lack providers. Providing the medication by mail through walk-in clinics and in university health centers would allow patients to skip the hassle of traveling to clinics where there are most often a lot of protesters outside, and some of them are not the friendliest. Some of them can become violent. But let's be frank, when abortion is made illegal or inaccessible, it doesn't go away, it goes underground. That's the unfortunate part. Is this going to continue? All the legislators have done is they put a blind over their eyes. Like the monkeys, I don't see, I don't hear, I don't talk. Well, they can't see. All this does is send the abortions to where the Supreme Court and the Republican Party doesn't have to see it. They're not going to stop it. They know they're not going to stop it. And this is the shame of it all, taking away women's rights to gain political advantages. They think. I think this is going to upset a lot of women around the country. I don't know about the next election if it's going to be so great for them. They think it's great. We're going to find out whether it is or not. But let's be frank, when abortion is made illegal, again, I repeat, it just goes underground. If Roe versus Wade is overturned, many conservative states will leap at the chance to make abortion illegal. Progressive states will have to step up to assist women forced to travel for reproductive health care. In the days before Roe versus Wade, too many women risked their lives and fertility undergoing abortions by shady illegal providers. Some were fortunate to access safer abortion services offered by feminist groups, but many not. Many suffered. And even if it didn't kill them, it sterilized them. I know women that have been sterilized because of using these unsafe methods that damaged them, and it's very sad. It's very sad. I'm Dr. Mordidas. Today, with the advent of less risky medication, abortion activists and attorneys can support women who self-induce abortions, which is not always a first choice, but frequently a necessary one. We must prevent overzealous prosecutors from bringing criminal charges against those who self-induce abortion or the people who assist them. Now is the time to move beyond saving Roe versus Wade and set in motion human rights-infused strategies that can unify abortion rights supporters and the broader women's and LGBTQ and racial justice movements. When right-wing state legislators whip up their base at the expense of reproductive freedoms, we need to cry out with loud and creative protest and demand that corporations and politicians join the call for rights, women's rights. As the Supreme Court diminishes Roe versus Wade, let's call for a blitz of laws in Democratic-led states that assert abortion as a right for all who need it. That'll counter what they're doing in the red states.
That's right. Like the Chicano movement. You gotta get out and fight women. We Chicanos fought. And look what happened. We won. And you can do the same.
You're absolutely right, Doctor. The Chicano movement won back then with Cesar Chavez, and women, trust me, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of American women. I think that conservatives have a war on their hands as far as I can tell. But to counter the chill of this ultra-conservative Supreme Court, women are proposing a long-term goal, a constitutional amendment providing for gender equity. The supercharged Equal Rights Amendment would guarantee full equality and protection for sexuality and productive freedoms for all, and without harmful government interference or denial of access to key services because of one's income, race, or geography. Let's begin this bold action by building the political power necessary to make such an amendment a reality. And if there's one group that can do it, women. Women. Oh boy. You get them upset, you got a fight on your hands. If and when the Trump reconfigured Supreme Court succeeds in taking apart Roe versus Wade, we know this will not be the immediate end of abortion rights in the U.S. Rather, it's the beginning of a new stage of the fight. It is a time now for a more audacious, collaborative movement to safeguard and expand the reproductive freedom that is a human right for all women. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm Juan Andres, also known as Senor USA, with my two co-hosts, Professor Pico and Dr. Mordidas. You can always find us on the USA One podcast on iHeartRadio, Podbeam, TuneIn, Alexa, and YouTube. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.